Happy Friday, everyone. Well, I'm filming this on Friday. I don't know what day it will be when I finally edit it and post it, but today is Friday, and in Northern California, where I am, it has been in the 70s for the past couple of days and sunny, and it feels so good. I mean, you can even see the sun coming in, and it's late afternoon. It's like 3:30 or something like that. It's been so pretty. I actually took my littlest out for a hike at this little regional park. I thought, I bet it's gonna be full, but we'll just drive by and see if there are any cars, and if there aren't, we'll go for a little hike. I think that lot holds up to like 100 cars, and there were like maybe 6 cars. And I said, woohoo, so we paid our $6, we hiked around for an hour. I think we saw one person fishing, and that was about it. It was such a pretty hike, and it was bizarre because it was a wintry landscape. All the trees were bare. There were, dead leaves on the ground. There were muddy bits, but the sun was shining and we were really warm. So much so that we were like actually getting overheated. And I was like, this is so surreal. What is going on here? It's January, for goodness sake. But I'm grateful. We really needed to be outdoors. Really trying to be one of those people that is really good about staying home. But, sometimes you got to get out. You just have to get out. We're trying to do that responsibly. I have some glass beads on this blanket. So I have 6 babies done. They feel like they took forever. I am so used to just having uninterrupted hours of working and getting things done efficiently. This has been another batch of very slow going babies. I'm just glad they're done. I have a lot of people who are waiting, and I posted their heads on Instagram a couple of days ago when I finished sealing up their hair. And so I want to get them out into the world because I want to start the next batch. The first baby is a sculpt that when it came out, I wanted it so bad. Now, it's Lailani yawning, and I think what people have issue with is sometimes there are babies that have like a static expression. And what I mean by that is they have a scrunchy face, or they're crying, or they're yawning, or they have an expression on their face that just stays that way forever. And some people feel uncomfortable. A sleeping baby, it just looks peaceful and calm. And this baby is always yawning. Now, for me, that is not an issue because there's passies, If you don't want her to be yawning for you, you can put her to sleep just by putting her passy in her mouth. I think the trick is to have a bigger passy and to place the magnets correctly. Usually with a sleeping baby, you just put the passy behind their mouth and the magnet sits on there. Now, because her mouth is open, wherever you put the magnet, the passy is going to want to go. So if you put it up here, it'll ride high. If you put it down here, it'll be down here, either side of the face. So what I did was I put a big magnet up here, and I put 2 small magnets here and another small magnet there, all with the polarity all facing the same way. And then I have this bigger pacifier, and it just kind of works. It has this little scrunchy bit here, but I think it's kind of cute. I really like this baby a lot. Get one of those straight eyelashes. Sometimes if you use curly mohair for eyelashes, they go every which way if they're not set right. And just wet them down and set them the way you want them and let them dry. They should be okay. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know that this part for me is just about looking for anything that I might have missed, or hair that needs to be trimmed. I did have somebody write to me the other day about combination rooted hair. And I kind of want to address that a little bit. Now, I am not the queen of combination rooted hair. I didn't invent it. I don't do it the best. Everybody has their style and the way they do it. And I think I've said before that when I first saw it and somebody requested it, or said, oh, that baby would look really cute with combination rooted hair. I looked it up and I went, ugh, nope, not for me. But then I played around with it. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. I played around with it until I found a way to do it that I liked. And I can't explain it. I put the hair where I want it to go, and I try to directionally root it. Now, somebody I know got a baby that was combination rooted, and they said it looks pluggy to me. Well, this is my take on it. There might be other opinions, and feel free to comment about that. You know, this should be a discussion where artists and collectors, let's talk about this, right? For me, I am not a rooter. I don't sit there and micro root every single tiny, tiny strand of hair one at a time, perfectly spaced. I would lose my freaking mind. I just can't. But I also don't go in with a pitchfork and jam in, 90 hairs at a time. I do my best, and I think it looks okay. Now, I looked at the baby that she was talking about. I don't think it looked pluggy, but I'm not the boss of these things. What happens is if the hair that you're rooting is a little bit lighter than the hair that you painted, you're going to see where it went in if you're looking close up. If you have a super thickly painted head and you put in hair, sometimes the holes are more obvious because the needle will poke through the paint, and then sometimes you can see a little bit of the vinyl underneath. Then you see a dark hair, and it's one of those things you have to look for. But I think, most of the time for me, I just paint a head, and then I look in my hair stash and I look for hair that matches that paint, and I do my best to match it. Sometimes I play with different things. I'll add some blonde highlights, or I'll do the hair just a tiny bit lighter for effect. It just depends what mood I'm in. Or if I'm trying to match blonde hair, it's not super easy for me just because I'm not a great painter of blonde hair. Very hard to get blonde hair. I don't know why. I think you just do the best you can. If you're going to compare this to a very finely top quality prototype rooted baby, it might not look the same. And I don't think that's kind of a big deal. Well, it's not to me. It might be to somebody else. But for me, I think it's just supposed to look the way it looks. And the question posed to me was, and it wasn't a baby that I made, it was a baby that somebody else made, was, does this baby look pluggy? And I said, I don't think it looks pluggy. If I got that baby, I wouldn't think it looked pluggy. The other thing, the last thing, is I root this hair directionally, meaning I follow the pattern that I painted with the hair. And then if I go to style this baby's hair, and I like a wet style, I go to style this baby's hair and I do this over to this side, this is going to look silly, and it's going to look pluggy because these hairs are not going in the direction that they're supposed to go. They're kind of standing up at the root. They're standing straight up because they were rooted to lay down flat. If you get a baby, from me at least, I'm not sure how everybody else does it. I would maybe take a look at the photos that you got of that baby and try to style that hair the way the artist intended it to be. And if you can't, if you're having trouble with it, ask them. Say, I'm trying to style this baby's hair. I want it to look the way it looked in the photos. They can tell you how. It's no big deal. And if it's me, get that baby's hair nice and wet with mohair conditioner. This is a little bit watered down just because the hair that I rooted this week, a lot of it was super conditioned, and I didn't want to add even more conditioner on top of it. So I watered my conditioner down a little bit. And you can do that too to make your conditioner stretch. Especially if you're grooming your babies a lot, you don't need to have all that conditioner. You can just use water sometimes. A lot of people do. I use a toothbrush, not one that you would use in your mouth, please. Not one that you ever intend on using again for anything other than this. And just follow the lines of the hair, and let that sit. And it will set. Now, mohair is messy. It just is. It's a job to maintain that stuff. It gets frizzy, it gets bedheady, it can break, it takes maintenance. So, know that that's a thing too. I hear on forums all the time, Are nails in or nails out? Are we still doing this little manicured look or not, you know? And for me, I just do whatever the heck I want to do. Whatever looks right for me. I'm going for a total vibe, you know? It might not be the same every time. Or I was thinking about it, and I kind of don't like that whole French manicured look all the time. And I was looking at a bunch of new baby pictures, and I was thinking, well, you know, sometimes they have tiny bits of slivers of white nail, and sometimes they have none, and sometimes it's just paper thin. I'm not going to worry too much about it, but what I did know that I wanted to do was I didn't want them to be so obvious. I toned down or tanned down my nail tips. So I'm using a new color, and I did on all these babies, and I'm not sure if it's something I'm in love with or not. I'm gonna just feel it out and see how that goes. But that's what I did different with these babies. Yeah, I'm gonna let those dry for a bit while I get her clothes. She'll be going home with this cute little spring dress for the springtime. Some cute little socks to go with her little spring outfit. And I'm going to put her in this little mint onesie because her pajamas have unicorns on them, and they have the same little mint manes here and little stars and stuff, and I think it's just pretty, and I really like that color. And do a little flowered hat. It has been a wild week over here at my casa. Bathroom sink leaked, and when I pulled out all the stuff underneath to dry it out, I realized that it's a cheap vanity. It's made out of that like presswood stuff, and it just got super waterlogged. It started getting moldy, and I was really frightened that that mold would somehow get into the walls or make us sick. So I pulled the vanity out yesterday and thought, oh my goodness, we're gonna be without a sink. I need to get another vanity. It is not a fancy bathroom. It's a tiny bathroom, and it has an old clawfoot tub in there that's about, I don't know, 150 years old. They came from somebody's horse pasture. I made another video about that. And this like 24-inch sink. I didn't want to have to redo everything. I didn't want to have to buy a new mirror, a new vanity, new everything. So I got online with Home Depot, and I just tried to look for something 24 inches, white and cheap, and just pop that in there. All they had really was this laundry sink. And when I was younger, a utility sink in a laundry room was that, like, it was a big plastic tub with plastic legs. This had, a cabinet. It looked just like a bathroom vanity. But the sink was huge, a big stainless steel sink. And I thought, wow, that would be kind of cool. The one that I'm replacing is about 15 years old, but it's that really cool like clear glass basin that sits on top, and very, very cute. But not practical at all, especially if you have an 8-year-old who brushes his teeth and manages to get toothpaste everywhere. Everywhere. He washes his hands and it's flooding, and it was just a mess. So I thought, I'm going to go ahead and get that. So I ordered it and picked it up curbside, got it home, and I'm so excited about it. I know it sounds silly, but the sink is huge. It's like, like a kitchen sink. And I can like rinse out clothes in there, and I can soak things in there, and I can wash my hair in there. I mean, I can do all kinds of fun stuff in there. So I really like it. I'm getting that in little by little. Plumbing is not my strength, but you got to know these things in life. You look cute in your unicorn pajamas, and I love the way this little green kind of peeks out. I think she looks adorable. We'll just get her put away, and we'll do photography probably, and maybe this weekend if I have time. But look at that. Isn't she pretty?